am out, come out for the prison, come get paper. Now where I get paper, I get the right documents. Now una talk say una no want me I go back. But before I no been get paper, una want deport me. Now where I get paper, una no want where I go back. Immigration, what I want?
2017, my very first time I was to fly to Nigeria, my home country, after leaving the country 10 years prior. That's in 2007. On arriving at Gurion Airport, I checked through security, baggage, luggage control, and all those. And by the way, I was flying to Nigeria with my wife, Moran. On getting to the immigration, the last bus stop to cross over to where I was going to take the flight, the immigration officers asked me for my passport. I gave to them. They ran it, their system, their database, and it was flagged. They called me into their office. If I was popular and somebody saw when the immigration here in Israel called me into their office and made a video, or if they took a picture, they would vlog. They will make videos that crackhead has been arrested by the Israeli immigration. But that's not what happened. The reason immigration officers here in Israel at Ben Gurion Airport called me into their office was to tell me that I'm not allowed to fly. I'm not allowed to leave the country. I told them, what?
I tell immigration, when I no been get paper, una arrest me, put me for prison for 2 weeks, threaten me say una go deport me until I fight am out, come out for the prison, come get paper. Now where I get paper, I get the right documents. Now una talk say una no want me I go back. But before I no been get paper, una want deport me. Now where I get paper, una no want where I go back. Immigration, what I want? Wetin dey happen?
I'm a Nigerian and I want to go back to my country. I want to visit my country. I haven't visited my country for the past 10 years. And you're telling me I cannot go to my country? As in, what a guan, immigration officers? What's going on, Israel? That was when they told me that my son's mom, that's Raphael, by then Lishai, of course, wasn't born. Lishai was born in December 2019. And this story is 2017. That was when the immigration told me that my son's mom, that's Raphael's mom, had placed an embargo, or whatever it is they call, that I am not allowed to leave the country, or I shouldn't be allowed to leave the country. Why? Because to her, I want to run away and leave my responsibilities so that I will not pay child support, so that I will not know if I have a son here in Israel, that was my plan. So of course, here in Israel or in the Western world, or where the laws are working, children come first. So that was why the immigration officers in Israel, in fact, Israel in general, stopped me from going to Nigeria until I settled everything with my baby mama. To cut the long story short, I took a lawyer and we did everything. And that day I could fly, even though I missed the first flight, which was 5 o'clock in the morning. I later flew, I think around 4 p.m. that day. After doing everything, I had to bring guarantors from my previous company to sign a surety for me that I'm going to come back to Israel. Meaning that if I would not come back to Israel, if I was truly running away, it's those 2 guarantors, in fact, actually 3, that will be taking care of my son until he turns 18. What am I trying to say? Yesterday, when Bobrisky was stopped at Seme border, a lot of you were like, oh, immigration has arrested Bobrisky. Even the immigration has come out to give a statement that yes, they stopped her because that's the job of the immigration. My question is, if the court gave an order for immigration not to leave the country, because what the immigration did yesterday was not right, unless they gave them the order or there was an embargo placed on Bobrisky, just like there was an embargo placed on me here in Israel. That's when immigration did their job wonderfully well. But if they did not, they violated Bobrisky's civil right. But of course, we know why they stopped Bobrisky. They said because they think she was running away. So what am I trying to say? Guys, for the fact that when you hear things happening to Bobrisky and you are jubilating and you're happy, lawyers defend condemned criminals. Their civil right is that they are entitled to defense. So if lawyers can defend people who buy people, people who murder people, Bobrisky, who did he buy? Who did he commit a crime against? So why can't someone support him? So that a lot of you, once somebody rises up somewhere and decides to talk in support of Bobrisky, all of you just clamor on that person. Oh, you're supporting evil. As if before Bobrisky, all the things he is doing wasn't in the world or wasn't even in Nigeria. A lot of you, in fact, you are even more evil than Bobrisky. But your only problem is because he has decided to leave brotherhood into sisterhood, we will not hear something anymore. So my stance is that immigration did not arrest Bobrisky. If they arrested Bobrisky, Bobrisky would have been in jail. Or what did they charge Bobrisky with? For fleeing the country? Was there an embargo placed on Bobrisky that he shouldn't leave the country? If there was no such embargo, then the immigration violated his human right. But if there was a court order that Bobrisky is not allowed to leave the country, yes, they have the right to stop Bobrisky from leaving the country, but that doesn't mean that he was arrested. Go back home, or we are going to take you to the House of Rep to answer. That doesn't mean he was arrested. Just like here in Israel at the immigration border, I was stopped. You are not going anywhere. If somebody took a video of me that time, the news would be that crackhead was arrested. That was an arrest. They told me to go back. I can't leave the country. That was the same thing that happened to Bobrisky yesterday. We could now go hug Transformer.